Hey, everyone. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast and the Boss Money Talk series. I'm your host, Ann Ganguza, and I am ecstatic to be here once again with the one and only lovely Danielle Famble.
Hey, Ann. So good to see you. Thank you for having me back on the podcast.
Awesome. Oh my God, it's such a pleasure talking money with you.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I love money. I love money. I still have that segment when we talked about, say it again. Say it along with us, bosses. We love money.
I love money.
So speaking of money, we've talked a lot about investing money and receiving money and saving money. But one thing that we haven't really delved into so deeply is your investing in money in the market, right? Because in reality, we can't make money if we don't have a market to sell to. And we really need to be able to get in front of people in order to say, hey, I'm here, I have a product, and you are absolutely able to buy.
Marketing your services.
Yeah, marketing your services. So yes, it is absolutely related to financials because you need to invest in marketing yourself, money and time. And so I thought it'd be a good time to talk about the different types of marketing that are out there. Like, how is it that voice actors acquire jobs? I think there's four ways, right, Danielle?
Yeah.
There's direct marketing, and I think we'll go over all of these as we go through the podcast. So there's direct marketing.
Yep.
There's pay to plays.
Sure. Yeah.
There's agents.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's one of my favorites, which actually just happened the other day. I got a direct inquiry on my website from someone that was looking to hire my voice, because they'd come to my website and they listened to my demos and they asked me, what would it cost to do such and such? And so that would be your website / SEO.
Yeah.
One of my favorite types, because I really didn't have to work hard. I had to work hard to get the SEO so that I could be found. But it's nice when people find me because they've already listened to me. And so that's what I consider a warm lead.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, and it's actually one that you have so much more control over as well, because you can choose how much what you put on your website. You can choose how much SEO marketing that you do, how much money you put into your SEO marketing, and then when it's out there, people find you and they know a lot about you because you've already put a lot of time and energy into cultivating and curating what they see when they come to your website.
So since we're already on the topic, right, I think let's delve deeper into that, because I think a lot of people don't. When I ask people, like, what do they have money to spend on? I mean, it's almost like a last-ditch effort, I feel like, that voice actors say, oh, well, I've got to get a website up. But I don't think they understand the importance of having that online storefront, because, honestly, that works for you 24/7. If you have people finding you on your website, that is your marketing investment that is available day in, day out, 24 hours a day. And the cool thing about it is that you can showcase your product with a good demo, by the way. And when you showcase that product and they listen to that demo and then they inquire, and you make it easy for them to inquire about their product, or your product, excuse me, then that is, I say that you haven't had to audition. You know, it's a warm lead, and that lead is usually quite effective, because then once they inquire, you can ask for more information, and then start a negotiation process, which again is absolutely under your control. And it's probably, I would say, one of the easier, once you've got your website up and running and you've done the work to get good SEO, it's one of the easiest ways to acquire work and to get paid.
Oh yeah, and it comes directly to you, so there's no friction of having to speak to your agent or your representation, or going through a portal on like pay to play sites.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is just direct, and you can really cultivate how that relationship, how you want to. You can ask them if they want to do directed sessions with you so that they can see your process a little bit more in depth. You control like how quickly you are not responding, how much the negotiation process, huge. But yeah, having them be able to find you. And typically that is finding you via like a Google search, or that's finding you through social media. If you've done any social media touches as well, they could even find you on certain websites that you are on, for example, like a pay to play website. But then you have your demos, you also have your email address, your website. So there are different ways that you can sprinkle around the essence of who you are and your digital storefront. Hang your shingle out there, and you can point it back by using SEO. You can guest blog, you can be on podcasts, you can do so many other things that bring awareness to who you are, that points a potential client to you, to your website. And then when it's there, then they can take a look and see everything that you've curated for them to see about you and possibly working with you.
Absolutely. And so think about it, guys. When you shop online, right? So these are important things to know, right, about your website. When you shop online, what is it that you're looking for, or when do you shop online, right? You shop online when you have a need, right? And so typically people that are searching at the Google prompt, or they see something that you might have curated on social media, they've been sparked because they have a need. And this is the very essence of marketing, right? Because you need to contact those people. They need to be ready, right? Or they need to be preparing to be ready, or they need to be researching the buy. And you are there in front of them. And that is probably half the battle, if not the majority of the battle, is to get there in front of them. And then when they have the need, they're going to buy. So I'm always talking about, well, I shop and I go, for fashion, for lipstick, all that fun stuff. And when I have a need, I will go to the Google prompt, or I will go to a website that I know, right? A brand that I know and I trust and I've purchased from before. So that's always a good reason to have a website, right? People who you've worked with before, they'll go to your website again. They might be showing your voice to somebody else. They might just be coming to contact you again to get your email address. But having people come to you is, I think, the majority of the work. And so make sure that your website is easy to navigate. Make sure that you have your product displayed promptly and like right up at the top, so that they can hear your voice, and also all of your contact information so that they can get in touch with you.
To find you.
Yeah. And you don't have to do the audition. That's what I say. You don't have to be like, it's 24/7, because a lot of times the other types of marketing we're going to talk about is your pay to plays or your auditions, because you have to do a little bit of work first, and then, right, you get cast. But with your website, it sits there available, and it works for you. And so make sure your SEO, which is your search engine optimization, is up to snuff on there. And it used to be that people paid for SEO. I don't know. Do people pay for SEO much anymore? It became almost like a scam at one point.
I actually pay for SEO. I've paid some people to help me navigating, like acquiring backlinks and making sure that anything that is out there on my website or pointing to my website is something that Google likes and can help someone find me. If there are certain keywords that I want to be found for, if someone's searching in Google, I want to be able to make sure that I rank high for those. So it is definitely something that you can definitely invest money into, and I would say probably hire someone who knows how to do that, and that is a wise use of your investment if that's what you choose to do. You can absolutely do that, and you can also just take care of what is on your website. So make sure
you have control.
Your brand is exactly what you want people to see, and you need to reverse engineer it. Think like a buyer. Think like, if I'm looking for a voice actor who sounds like this, or for this particular type of brand, make sure that you've showcased that that's what you do and showcase it in a way that is easy to digest and that people can take it for what they need. For example, make sure your demos are downloadable. If they need to like take off demos off of your website,
so important.
if they know how to reach out to you, make sure your email address is on it, not just a contact form. Make it so that if you were a person who was looking for you, they would know how to find you just on your website.
Quick. Make it quick and painless. Quick and painless, right? You don't want to make it hard on your potential clients. So we could probably have an entire episode, and I know I have had previous episodes on websites and how important they are, but in terms of the marketing of you, they are critical. I mean, so don't leave that to be like the last thing that you do or the thing that you don't want to invest your money in, because I'll tell you what, for me, when I shop, a website literally is the clincher for me, because I want to make sure that website looks professional, that it looks trustworthy, and it has the things that I want on it, that I can see, I can get the information quickly, because I don't have a lot of attention span and I don't have a lot of time, right?
And it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing, too. It's something that needs maintenance, which also requires money and time, because certain plugins need to be updated, your hosting needs to be updated, and maybe you even need to refresh what's on your website. Maybe it's that your demos get updated, or any videos or social proof of what you've done needs to be updated as well. So this is not a set it and forget it. This is something that requires maintenance, and that maintenance does require time and money investments.
Exactly. Now let's talk about, and we could, like I said, we could go on forever about this, but let's talk now about the second method, or, and these are in no particular order, but I just happen to be thinking of pay-to-plays and online rosters, right?
Yeah.
So pay-to-plays and online rosters are places where you create a profile, and that profile should absolutely describe you and your brand. And there's lots of different places out there that can help you to write a great profile if you are unfamiliar or you're scared about writing about yourself. Lots of places out there that have helpful hints on how to write a good profile. And also you have your products ready to upload or be on display, right? So have those demos, and make sure those demos are, again, that's your product. So make sure those demos are good demos, or those samples are good samples, and that they make you shine. Okay. Not just like, oh, I created a sample, let me upload it, because again, you're going up now against other people at this point. You're on a website that has other people that have products as well that are displaying. So you want your product to be the best product, right? You want your product to look the best. You want your product to sound the best. It's kind of like, it's all in like the display. Like if I were working in retail and in clothing and or if you walk into a store and it's just real pretty and it's got a good feng shui about it, then you're like, oh, I'm more apt to buy. So if you've got a demo and it just kicks butt, I mean, people I think are going to be impressed by that. And there's so many differing opinions on like, do you need a demo these days? Well, I think you need something that absolutely exemplifies and showcases your voice in its very best. And so a lot of times when you're beginning and you're just starting out, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't have an ear for it. So that's when you trust a good coach, demo producer. But the pay-to-plays are an investment, right? Your demos, your product is an investment. Your online casting and pay-to-plays, well, pay-to-plays for sure are an investment because there's typically a membership involved in that. And online rosters can be an investment. It can absolutely be an investment of your time. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know any online rosters, though, except pay-to-plays that ask you to pay a membership fee. Do you, Danielle?
No, I don't really know of any online rosters that ask you to pay a membership fee. That sounds to me more like a pay-to-play. But the idea of making sure that your marketing, your everything that you're offering on your portion of the pay-to-play is as professional and showcases what you do well is really important, because if you think about it like being in a grocery store and you're in like the ketchup aisle, there are several different brands of ketchup.
There are so many ketchups,
So you can, what are you choosing and why? So you really want to make sure that like your portion of the digital landscape that you're taking up on that pay to play represents who you are, and the branding of it, like, ketchup label, for example, really showcases what it is that you do and what you do well. And again, how people can contact you. If it's through that pay to play, cool.
Absolutely.
If it is to your website, then that's sort of a second link to making sure that there's consistency.
Yeah. Now, in terms of marketing, right, what's important in the marketing of that, right? So on your website, it was important that you had SEO so people knew where to go, right? They know how to get to your place. They get to your online storefront, and that's done through the actual verbiage that you have on your website, as well as, let's say, social media and emails that drive people to your website. Now, with online casting and pay-to-plays, right? Online casting and pay-to-plays, they're doing a lot of the marketing for you as well, because their SEO already includes a lot of voice actors. So when people are searching for that voice actor or, corporate narration voice or whatever they're searching for, because they have a series or a bunch of online, a bunch of voice actors on there, their SEO is already working in their favor. Right. Plus, they're probably doing their own marketing because they want to get clients in. I mean, that's like one of the roles of an online pay-to-play is to get clients in because they have a need, right? So at this point, they have a need, and now they go to the pay-to-play or the online roster, and now they have to choose, right? And again, like you said, just like in the ketchup aisle, you want to make sure your ketchup is the best and your ketchup stands out and that your brand is really represented well. And so the marketing investment there is your investment in that membership, as well as the investment of, let's say, your product, right? To have a great product so that it stands out, and the way that you're writing that description, right? And the things that you can control on the pay-to-play or the online roster.
Yeah. And recognize that you are, in that particular marketing instance, you are attaching your business on the back of another business.
Exactly.
So making sure that you agree with how that business is running. Maybe you don't choose a particular pay to play because you don't agree, but know that you are attaching your business to another business. So that business's success is also your success, but you need to make sure that it's not the only way that people can find you, which is why like this four-prong approach I think is really smart, just making sure to diversify.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? I've seen that around. You want to make sure you don't put all of your time and all your investment in just a pay-to-play, because there's lots of different ways to acquire work. And so that was the second way. And again, we could have a whole podcast episode just on pay-to-plays, which we might do. But our third one that we're talking about is agent representation, maybe management, right? Yeah. And so in that marketing instance, right, the agents have a relationship, right, or the managers have a relationship with either other agents or with potential clients. Yeah. And those clients depend on the agent or the manager, mostly the agent, right? Because probably the choices to them by just searching at the Google prompt are overwhelming. There's a lot of voice talent out there. And so they might have worked with an agent for many years and they trust that agent. And that agent is the one that probably gets them the short list, right? They have dependable, qualified voice actors on their roster. They have an audition, which they'll give to the agent. The agent will then distribute it to their roster. And then at that point, they'll get back those auditions and the agent will shortlist. For the most part, the agent will shortlist and then send that shortlist to the client. And that kind of keeps the client's decision-making process, make it a little bit easier, not as overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a curated way to get what you're looking for. And again, that's connecting that to another business. So it's long as that agent or manager or whomever has these robust relationships with potential buyers, then you're riding along on that relationship. So it also then means with your marketing is making sure that your agent knows everything they need to know about you. And so it's managing that relationship with your agent and making sure they have what they need. They have your most updated demos. They have your most updated work. They know if you have conflicts and you can't audition for certain things. It's making sure that you have watered that relationship, and you've managed and tilled the garden of that relationship, because it's not just with your demos or what you've done. It's also making sure that interpersonal relationship is healthy.
Right. And so your financial investment with a manager, with an agent or a manager, right, it's usually going to be a percentage of the job that you get. So you're going to have, number one, to get a great agent, to get a good agent, you probably need a really good demo. So there's going to be the investment in getting a really good demo, and especially because agents and managers typically work in the broadcast part of the industry. And so you want to make sure that you have a tip-top demo, because they're very busy people, and so typically that's going to be like your demo is going to get you in the door, that and a recommendation probably. So there's the investment in that, and then there's the financial responsibility. If you audition for the gig, it's going to be your time in auditioning, right, for your agents, and also when you get the gig, it's going to be a percentage, anywhere from 10 to 20%, and then managers typically are nurturing relationships between you and an agent, and then you're paying a manager as well a certain percentage. So there's your financial investment in that leg of the marketing. And then finally, after that, we've got the SEO we talked about, your investment, which was investment in your website, in your product, and then your negotiation skills. Your pay-to-play or your online rosters is your investment in the membership, in the investment in having a product that stands out, and again, having a great demo, having a way to make sure that your brand stands out for that. And then we just spoke about the agent manager, right? Your financial investment is going to be the percentage. It's going to be your demo, and it's going to be your percentage that they're going to take once you get the gig. And what is our last one?
I've been racking my brain like, oh God, what is
we
the
had
last
four.
one?
We had four.
I was looking for the last one. I was like, I hope she pulls it out, because I can't.
SEO pay to plays, managers, agents. Oh, direct marketing. Of course. Yes, absolutely. So, and one of the reasons, gosh, I should know that, is direct marketing, I think, is probably one of the most unpredictable and probably difficult, but can be really, really a great payback if you invest in it. So there's probably the most, I would say, unknown investment in direct marketing, because direct marketing is you contacting a potential client. And so how did you get those leads? It's either leads that you've curated yourself, right, through mining the internet, LinkedIn, getting contacts at companies, and and so you're reaching out to them directly. And so there's a whole issue of, okay, you got to be careful to not be spammy. So there's your time investment with that, and you have to be careful that you're not spamming, because how many of us have gotten an email from somebody we didn't know that is, peddling their services, and we kind of get upset, right? And we say, I didn't ask for this. So you have to be very careful, be spam compliant, which is why I created, by the way, the VO Boss Blast. And I don't want this to turn into a whole VO Boss Blast marketing effort by me, but I'll tell you why I created it, because I didn't have a ton of time to do auditions, right? I auditioned for my agents only. I didn't have time to be on a pay-to-play to audition, 10, 20 times a day for that. So I created a direct marketing product called the Boss Blast, which basically just gives me a list. I purchased a list that is curated by another entity, and basically is continually updated. So I didn't pay. That was not a cheap list. I don't sell the list to people, but what I do is I use a portion of that list and I market to that list for you. Now, the one advantage of the direct marketing on that list, as opposed to just mining the internet and sending somebody an email saying, hey, I'm a voice artist, and if you need my services, I'm here, and blah, 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 that which could be considered spam, is that the people on this list have already agreed for the VO Boss domain to market to them. So therefore, I market for you on behalf of my domain. And so they've already said it's okay to market. So I've got about 90,000 creatives on this list. And it's not that you couldn't buy that list either, but I spent thousands of dollars on the list. So, I mean, you can certainly make that investment yourself as well. The other thing that I invest in order to send that email, or to send out lots of email, at one time is investing in a mail service, and I use ActiveCampaign. So I spend thousands of dollars on that as well. So in order to recoup those costs, I offer it to a small percentage of the voiceover community if they want to market and use a portion of that list. But the most important thing about direct marketing is understanding. So the investment is you're going to pay somebody to direct market for you, or you're going to spend the time curating the leads, and then, that's not like something you can do overnight. And you can't send to 1,000 people at once. However, you're investing your time in that, and typically in a marketing class too, because you want to make sure that you're not being spammy, and a lot of people need help marketing. A direct marketing product like VO Boss, it is a paid thing. We market for you. The one thing that you have to understand about direct marketing, it's very effective. However, you have to understand that timing is everything on a direct marketing campaign, because I tell people like this. I have a need for shorts when the summer comes around, and I subscribe to the Old Navy list. I always use Old Navy. I don't know why, but I subscribe to many lists. But Old Navy sends me 3 to 4 emails a week. I've agreed to allow them to send me emails because I made sure I checked that box that they can send marketing emails. But I don't buy, right, every time they send me an email. I do not buy. As a matter of fact, the only time I buy is when I have a need, right? Do I have a need for shorts? Well, I've got 20 pair of shorts that I just bought this past season. So do I need another pair? I don't know, maybe. What will convince me that I need another pair is if I maybe figure out, but these are cute and they're the right price, right? Or whatever it is, however they've been packaged in that email to say, hey, either there's a sale, and I'm not suggesting that voice actors create a sale, but theoretically you could. I have knowledge. I have knowledge that there's a new season, it's summer, and these cute trending shorts are at Old Navy. I must have them, right? So I have a need. I click on the email, right, that says, Old Navy's got, new summer wear, and I look at what's on that email, and I have an interest. And now I click, right, because I might want to consider buying. When I click and I go to that website, I want to make sure that website is trustworthy. I want to make sure, Old Navy, I already bought from them, so I trust them. But it could be a new brand. Yeah. But when it's a new brand and I'm not familiar and I haven't purchased before, I make sure that website looks legit. And I do research to make sure that they're legit. Mm-hmm. And then if everything happens and the timing is right, I click to buy. Your voice acting, right, product, your voice is the same exact way. So I ask you, Danielle, how many times does Old Navy need a voice to sell a product? Is it every day? It
may not be every day.
Exactly.
They might want to change their marketing once a season or every couple of years. You never know, but it's not daily.
It's not daily. So you have to understand when you're paying for direct marketing or you're direct marketing on your own, right? If you send one email to 1,000 people on a list, or no matter how that gets accomplished, you may not even get somebody. People might open the email, but you may not get a purchase. So you cannot expect from direct marketing, because it is such a timing related thing. You cannot expect that, I paid someone to market for me and I sent out 1,000 emails. I didn't even get anybody that wrote back to me. Well, do you write back to Old Navy when they don't? You know what I mean? Old Navy sends me emails 3-4 times a week. Do I write back to them to say, no, I have no need? I'm sorry. Or, hey, do you have shorts like? No, I just don't. I look at it. I open it. Maybe I go to the website and I click. So just keep that in mind when you are direct marketing. And by the way, for my VO Boss Blast, we do go over who opens your email because we can track that, because I purchase these services. My ActiveCampaign server actually tracks who opens the email, and it tracks who clicks on email. So if we put a click in an email saying, go to your website, I'll know that they went to your website. Now, do I know if they purchased? No, I don't. Only you know that. Only you know if they've sent an inquiry. Once they've gotten to that website, which was the very first marketing method we talked about, right? They've looked at your website, and if you're unknown to them, they look at it, they see something, and it sparks trust, and they listen to your voice. It's accessible, and they like it. So then they get to know you by seeing your brand, which you've represented on your website. Mm-hmm. So they know, like, and trust, and that will give them a reason to buy.
And what I like about what your Old Navy example is for a lot of people, and myself included, I've been personally really afraid of direct marketing because it feels like it's such a heavy lift and you've always got to be doing it and there's just so much to do. And how do you have the time to send out, 1,000 emails or what have you? But the point that you're making and the point that I'm receiving from what you're talking about is really that this is sort of the engine that is constantly running in the background to bring more leads into your business, or at least more eyeballs on your brand, so that they can see who you are. And when they are ready, then they will be reaching out to you. But you have to constantly be doing it.
Yes.
And it can just be a little bit at a time, but just one touch is not enough. So you have to continually put in the energy and the effort for it. And then going back to the finances of it, recognize that you will either be paying with your money or with your time.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
outsource these things, and it is something that is possible to outsource,
which is what a blast
is
is.
doing it, which is exactly what the VO blast is.
Yeah, and people will say, and my blast, it can, if you decide after you send out an initial blast, which introduces, by the way, it introduces you to the list that I've created for you. And then after that, it becomes top of mind. Just like you said, continually, they got to be reminded. Like, I forgot that Old Navy has got a new, if I don't see it in front of me, I might forget, so I need to be reminded. So even if I don't open the email, I need to see the email coming through my inbox, right? That it's coming from Old Navy, and the subject line will say, right, summer sale or, summer fashion. And then I'll be reminded, yes, now the time is right. Let me click, let me go, let me see if it has what I want. And then I will buy if it suits all of my needs. So just know that, reaching out to someone once a month, which is what we do. In reality, I could be reaching out for you a couple times a month. I've thought about, changing up my product offering to allow maybe, 2 times a month. That is not spam. That is absolutely not spammy. And I, by the way, I want to make sure that we're not spamming people, because if you yourself have been spammed, you don't like how off-putting that can be.
Yes.
And that can just, that can take a promising lead and just kill it forever. Because I've had people who have reached out to me trying to sell their services, and I've been completely turned off, and I basically blacklist them. So as a provider of this sort of service, I have to be careful that, VO Boss is not sending spammy messages. So keep in mind, if you ever are interested in that, you can find out more at the VO Boss website. It's called the VO Boss Blast. And I can also talk to you about the specifics of it. But I am very protective of my domain. I make sure that we're not spamming. Your email goes through my eyes every single time. So I want to make sure that I'm protecting my brand as much as I'm protecting your brand. But yeah, so your financial investment there will be in your time curating leads yourself, right, for direct marketing, and then being careful that you're not spamming, or investing and outsourcing it to someone like a VO Boss Blast, like myself, or somebody else to do your marketing for you. Be careful, I will just say, if you're buying a list, because I'm selling you marketing to a list. I'm not selling you a list. The list, I happen to know, is a reputable place that constantly updates their contacts so that if somebody doesn't work for the company anymore, they're taken off the list. I don't send emails to a stale list, and I don't give you a list because of that. Number one, you don't know how long that list has been around. You didn't verify those people, and you didn't find out from those people that they've allowed you to send them email. You've not gotten permission. So I'm the one who has permission based on the list that I am curating for you and then sending email out on behalf. So your investment there is whatever it costs to outsource the marketing and the generation of that email to a permission-based list.
Yeah.
So, wow. So that was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot, but it's so important, bosses, that you understand that without people having a need for your product, for your voice, your business won't exist.
And that marketing is a huge way to keep your business flowing, because either you are doing the direct marketing yourself or you are connecting your business to other businesses. But it does require a time and financial commitment to keep all of this up, and it has to be done on a daily basis, and even including auditioning. Auditioning is marketing. So auditioning for all of the on all of these different platforms and your own is ways to market yourself as well. So this is just, it's got to constantly be happening in order to bring your business continual revenue.
Yeah, and absolutely. And so there is a financial investment everywhere. It's so funny, Danielle, because this series on money, it's funny how much people don't necessarily want to talk about it, but it's in every single aspect of our business, of our performance, of our auditioning, of our it's your time or your physical money that is involved. And we have to be conscious of it, and we have to be educated about it, and we have to be accepting of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what our series is attempting to do for the bosses out there, Danielle. And I'm so grateful that I get to talk to you about it because you just bring so much to the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne. I love talking about this, and I think that having an open and honest dialogue about money, about how we can have it, make more of it, make it grow, how we can bring it into our lives and our businesses is really what helps us impact the world around us, because it requires money, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's wonderful, and as we always say, I love money, and I love talking about it.
All right, bosses, we love money. Go out there and market. Thank you again, Danielle. This has been a really great episode. I'm going to give a great big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can connect and network like bosses. Find out more at IPDTL.com. Bosses, have an amazing week. Go out there and market yourself, and we will see you next week. Bye.